This is when the pigskin meets the round ball. We're going to see how they mesh with each other on 94 feet of UNC.
Doherty to Black. The time, 18. Shot, Jordan! Michael Jordan!
Swicker with the defense and the rebound. That's a good effort by Swicker.
Stackout streaking in on Park. Rebound stuck is good, and he gets fouled by Park. Oh my goodness, what a dunk by Stackout.
I think that he brought him back so quickly, but you know what? They're down east. It's fair to say, but you can't teach that. You can't teach that. You can't teach that high-rising ability.
3. And Green rips down the rebound in traffic. 4-on-1.
Great job. What a terrific job in transition. I mean, you could.
The glass no good. Rebound followed by hand throw. Good! Carolina.
Inside 30 overall. Love, top of the key.
Alice about this over. Carolina. The Tar Heels have won the national championship.
And that is it. There is a new team in college basketball. North Carolina takes the title. Hampton, any final. North Carolina is the 2009 national champion. And this year, the confetti is going to fall to North Carolina. They're not going to be denied this time.
What's up, everybody? It is Wednesday, November 6th. You are tuned in to the 94 Feet of UNC podcast. I am your host, Linzel Graham. I got a special guest in the building with me today, but before we get into him introducing himself and everything, just real quick, appreciate all the love and support from everybody, but make sure you like, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell on my YouTube channel at 94 Feet of UNC. I greatly appreciate it. It only takes a second to do. So let's get out there and support your boy, because you just never know who's going to stop in and sit down, chop it up with me. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of special guests coming, but just appreciate everybody. Also, follow me on my socials on Twitter, on Instagram at 94 Feet of UNC. Once again, appreciate all the love and support from everybody. We also got 94 Feet of UNC podcast merchandise, which is coming soon. I know I keep telling y'all that, but just be patient with your boy. I just got to remind y'all that it is coming, but just be patient. Got some big things coming, some contests, some free giveaways, things like that. But in order to find out, make sure you tap in with me, follow me on my socials, subscribe to my YouTube channel. My special guest today in the building with me is Mr. Searcy himself. Denarius, what's up, my guy?
What's up, Big Time? Thanks for having me on here.
Absolutely, bro. Like, listen, Denarius, you gotta forgive me, man. I've been under the weather here. Still a little under the weather, a little bit, but getting a lot better. I'm sure my fans they've been wondering. That some of them have hit me up like, "Yo, where you been? What's going on?" Things like that. So just been a little bit under the weather, but I'm feeling a lot better and getting better. But so yeah. But we right back at it. But listen, Denarius, it's not about me. It's about you. What's going on, man? Like, listen, like, tell everybody about yourself. Like, for those that don't know.
For those who don't know, originally born in Decatur, Georgia, Grady Hospital, born and raised. Lived in Atlanta until I was 18. Then I made my transition to UNC after being recruited by Butch Davis back in 2007. I haven't lived in Georgia since I left at the age of 18. So that goes to tell you that I love the state of North Carolina, man. After years away, when I retired, I ended up moving back here. So yeah, I've been having a blast, man. Being back in former territory, running into plenty of college teammates and college classmates. Just been enjoying life, man. I have so far so good. God has blessed me extremely throughout my time on this earth. 2 beautiful kids, loving family, man. I'm just always taking it one day at a time, and just thanking the Lord for being fortunate. That's all.
That's what's up, man. That's what's up. Listen, of course, I definitely appreciate you taking out the time to come and sit down and chop it up with me. Listen, Denarius, I tell everybody that come on to the show, get comfortable, kick your shoes off, dog. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I can get you something to drink if you want to. Like, we not here for a long time, but we here for a good time. So, you know, relax, get comfortable, man, and we gonna really get to some things today, man, because I'm curious to know some things, of course, but of course, I just want your opinion on some things or whatever on the football side, of course, but on the basketball side as well, because of course it is a basketball show. So let's get into everything. Let's jump to the football side of things first. Football side of things.
So, let's do it.
The first thing I do want to know is, like, well, I'm sure the fans want to know because it's different for everybody. Tell everybody about like what your recruitment process was like on the football side of things.
On the football side of things, man, my recruitment process was crazy. The very first day that colleges come around and visit you in May, dude, I had like over 15. This one I knew I kind of arrived, and I knew I was gonna have a chance to play football on that next level, because the very first day that schools was able to come around and visit like up and rising seniors, man, I had like 15 schools at my school. Like I received 3 scholarship offers that day, you know, one from Florida, one from LSU, and Georgia Tech. And then like the next week I received another offer from Maryland and Ole Miss. Then I received another offer from Carolina and Virginia Tech. So it was pretty amazing, man. Like it came. Matter of fact, Larry Fedora, who's the coach at UNC, he was at Southern Miss at the time. He offered me, so it was great, man. It was just a testament to all my hard work, all the early mornings I used to get up and run hills before I went to school, all the evenings I used to lift weights and whatnot before I went to bed. It put me ahead of the curve, put me ahead of everybody and ahead of my competition, so I was able to stand out, because my high school wasn't a parental powerhouse or nothing like that. They had plenty of good athletes come through there, but we make to the playoffs here and there, but we wasn't like consistent. So I think I was probably one of the few consistent players to come out of there. So to have that type of notoriety come to the school, and to show that type of love, man, it was great. I remember when I was coming down the hallway and my principal told me to stand by him for a minute. He said, I got to talk to you. I thought I was in trouble. You know what I'm saying? So the bell rang. He was like, I'll take you to class. You be good. I'll let the teacher know you with me. So we went to his office, and I sat down. He was just like, boy, the amount of people that's blowing my phone up. You know what I'm saying? He was like, you about to have a serious storm come through here. And I was like, what you mean? And he was like, he said, you're a wanted man in a good way. You like, all these schools want you. That shows like your character. Like, you got good grades, and they already know you're a heck of a football player. So like, it's a blessing. And then he was just like, he thanked me for bringing that type of like positivity to the university, because he was like, other kids need to see that. So because before me, wasn't a wave like that of recruiting coaches coming through that school. Like, you get some here or there, you get mostly like HBCUs and whatnot. But when it was my time to get recruited, no, didn't no HBCUs come to talk to me. It was all Division I. And it was I had a blast. It was cool to get called out of class, because a coach would be there to see me, and I was always eager, like, well, who this coach, who this school, you know what I'm saying? So I mean, it was a great opportunity. It was a great opportunity, and I just took every minute of it and took it in stride, to be honest with you.
Yeah, like, listen, when you get a long list of schools or whatever, it's a good thing, but it can also be a bad thing, because now it's like, now I got to break it down and figure out.
Right.
I gotta start cutting.
Right.
Because you can only pick one.
Right. But it's still good to be wanted. I enjoyed the entire process. Like, I would come home from school sometimes. We have 20 messages on the answer machine. 18 of them for me. Only 2 of them for my mom and dad. You know what I'm saying? So I loved it. Picking up mail, picking up recruitment letters from school, then getting home and checking the mailbox. It's both recruitment letters in the mail. And I think I went to go see my granddad one time for like a week. It came back home, dude. I had a stack of mail on my bed, just all like recruiting letters and whatnot. So man, I enjoyed it. Like, I the time I got tired of it was once I made my mind up where I was going and I announced my commitment, and then it was still schools like reaching out to me. And so that's the only time I didn't like it, because I felt like schools didn't respect my decision. I was like, quit calling. Like I already know, like I told you, I announced it. I verbally committed and everything. I'm done with my recruitment. Like, that's it. You know what I'm saying? But coaches still gonna fight to the end. Heck, I even had a coach call me the night before signing day trying to convince me to like switch over and whatnot. And I was like, nah, it's done. Like, I already signed it. I'm just waiting for the sunrise to come up so I can go, fax it off. So, but it's nice to be wanted. You know what I'm saying? So I enjoyed that process, man.
So I gotta ask you, when you cut your list down, how did you make the decision? Who were the teams that when you cut your list down to, whether it was 6, 3, 4, 5, but then what made you make the decision like, yeah, the Carolina Blue Argyle is what it is?
Got you. So I had over 25 scholarship offers. I narrowed it down to 5. It was Carolina, Georgia Tech, Ole Miss, Florida, LSU. Those was my 5. I ended up ultimately choosing North Carolina because one, when I first went up there, like the campus was one of the most like prettiest places I had ever been. And up until that point, I had never been to North Carolina. Like I had been to South Carolina, Myrtle Beach. I had been to Tennessee because my mother's from there. So we've been to Chattanooga and Nashville. I've been to Alabama. I've rode through Mississippi and Louisiana on en route to Fort Worth. That's where my granddaddy lives. So we used to go see my granddad sometimes. And I had been to Jacksonville. So I had seen the Swamp Stadium, but we didn't go to the campus. So just at the time, I had went to Carolina to attend a camp. We got out there, and the camp we had like 2 hours before the camp was to start. So we walked around. And man, seeing the flowers blooming and the pretty trees, I was like, man, this place is like, man, dang, this place is real nice. You know what I'm saying? And meeting, like, first it was John Button, who's the coach. Tommy Theopen was my recruiter and whatnot, and it felt like home. You know what I'm saying? It felt like it was just a place I felt like I could grow there. It was quiet. To me, it was quiet compared to where I grew up at. It was very family oriented. I felt like this was like the best option. And then when Button got fired, I kind of went back up in the air because I didn't know who they was going to get. And then when they got Butch Davis, I remember Butch Davis from his Miami days. So I already knew the type of agenda he was on. I already knew he was kind of like the pipeline. If you want to go to the NFL, as long as you do what you need to do and whatnot. So it was a no brainer. Like, I'm going to go. And then he recruited 2 of my favorite players, Ed Reed and Sean Taylor. So it's like, yeah, I'm gonna go play for the guy that coached the guys that I love to watch. You know what I'm saying? Like, he helped develop them so he could help develop me as well. So that was the kicker at the end of it. So that's what made me choose Carolina. I remember I think I came up here that first time during the summer. I think I came back like 2 more times. So after my first trip to Carolina, I came back twice. So I came to Carolina 3 times in one summer. You know what I'm saying? So it was pretty much, I was like, yeah, I'm coming here. So yeah. So yeah, man, it was the best decision of my life. You know what I'm saying? The best 4 years I had, you know what I'm saying? Like, just the people I've met, teammates I've met, the friends I've met. It's amazing. I just yeah, it's nothing like it.
Yeah. Yeah. And even though it on the field side of things, versus on the court side of things, like I tell all of the other players, it's all of the stories pretty much are the same. It's just different journeys, different destinations. Like, the basketball players might go to the left. The football players might go to the right.
Right.
But before they even got to that point, it was a straight line. Absolutely. Basically, which is the same path, same story. Now it's just you're branching off, going to different destinations, but at the end of the day, it's all gonna come right back and meet up again, like, because that's the UNC family way, I guess you could say. Like, so
Right.
I mean, that's an incredible story, man. Like, or whatever. So I mean, I got to ask you. Because you got to tell everybody, like, jumping from UNC to the transition from UNC to the NFL.
Okay. The transition was pretty smooth because Butch Davis ran a pro style like systematic, if that makes sense. We ran a pro style offense, we ran a pro style defense, and we even ran a pro style special team. So training camp was even set up like the NFL. So once I left here and got drafted by Buffalo, only thing new to me was time management, because there's no more class and no more study hall, and learning a whole new playbook, because the playbook I was in at UNC, I was in it for like 4 years. So now I have to flip my whole mindset, because here at Carolina, we was in a 4-3, but my first year in Buffalo was in a 3-4. So terminology is different and everything, but the format and layout was no different. I didn't have no hard times adjusting to the rigorous schedules of an actual football team, of an NFL team, because Butch Davis had already been running it like that all my 4 years of college. So the only difference was I had a heck of a lot more money in my pocket, and I was playing with grown men instead of, like, I was playing with men who's fighting for like careers, their livelihoods, which is coming from college. I know the guy next to me in the locker gonna be there the next day, unless he's done something insane to get himself kicked out of school or something tragic happened to him. That's the only way you're going to lose a teammate in college. You know what I'm saying? But in NFL, is day by day. You know what I'm saying? So it's plenty of times I've been in the NFL locker room and seen a guy, chatted with a guy at breakfast, and then by dinner they released him. You know what I'm saying? He's not there no more. Or you see a guy, you get used to being around a guy from OTAs and mini camp through training camp, and then they cut him, so you don't see him no more. So I mean, you build up friendships, and then sometimes those friendships gets cut because a guy gets cut or traded, or you know what I'm saying. So that was the main difference. Getting into the main difference getting the NFL was knowing, like, it count now. You got to really, like, put in the work, or you're not going to be here, because you're in the business of winning now. It's not just student athlete and education and things of that nature. Like, nah, you're in the business of winning, and the best players are going to stay on the team and continue to play and make a living doing that. And if they feel like you're not up to it or you can't handle it, then you're out of there. So that was the main thing of Justin. Like, never get caught up with your feelings in the NFL, because at the end of the day, it's a business.
Right. So, Denard, I got a question, and this goes for any players that have played, of course, in the pros, in the pros period, whether it's basketball, football, whatever the case may be, right? Because I've always wanted to know how this works. So, if you get drafted, right, by the Bills, do you move to Buffalo? But then if you turn around and, like, you got picked up, got cut or whatever, and went to the Panthers, do you move to Buffalo on the first trip? But then if you come from Buffalo and now you're going to Carolina, do you sell the house and stuff in Buffalo, and now you got to find a new one in Charlotte? And then you're bouncing around from team to team, because I can imagine that can be hectic, bro.
Oh yeah. We had it, man. Yes, it can be hectic, man. I'll give you an example. We had my second year in Buffalo, we drafted a guy in like the 4th round, and he had, he had a wife, he had a son. Son was like 2, and he bought a house in Buffalo, thinking he was gonna at least be there for 1 year. You know what I'm saying? And after training camp, they cut him. So yeah, he still had the house in Buffalo, but he has to leave and go to another team because he got picked up by another team, and it be like that. I know plenty of guys who got cut or traded during like the off season, and they got like property or they either renting a home and then they gotta like just pack up and go. And then like whenever they get a break, they either come back and pack up or they send somebody to pack up their stuff and bring it. Some teams, if they trade for you, they pay for you to rearrange and come to their city. You know what I'm saying? Some teams do that, not all teams. But yeah, that's the hard part. That's the hard part. That's why a lot of people don't buy homes in the towns they stay in unless they know for sure, like no matter what happens, I'm going to live here. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people like rent or a lot of people rent. So like at the end of the year or at the end of the term, they just terminate the lease and like move on and whatnot. But that's the risk you take. That's the price you pay for wanting to play in that profession, because the team's going to do whatever they can, the best in their interest for the team. Because like, again, you're in the business of winning. There is no feelings. You got like billionaires who want to win, and then they hire people that they trust to get the job done. So the guys who they put in power to get the job done, they're gonna do what they feel is best for the team. If they feel like they could trade you to this team for a value now, or a value in the value now means you could come in now and play, or they trade you for like future value. You see guys get traded and they get traded for like draft picks for the next years, things like that. So they using you to like rebuild their team. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it's that's why I say you can't have it's hard, but you can't have your feelings in it. You still see it to these days where guys get released or traded, and the guy come on there and they post like, man, I gave my heart to it. I gave my heart to this team and they did me like this and everything. But I mean, I get it. Because especially if you've been there 3, 4, 5 years, you don't build up, relationships with people in the building, relationships with people in the community. You have a routine going, your barber, the daycare who watch your kids, like your routine, what you do on Fridays to get you ready for the game. And now you shift to another city, another team. You got to start all over. Now you got to like refine that all over again. And some guys don't do that. You may see a guy get transferred. I mean, I'm saying transfer. You see a guy get traded to a team and they not the same. You like, well, why he's not doing what he did at the other team? Well, he's out of his comfort zone. He already had, especially, men, we like structure. So like anything with a routine keep us on pack. If it's a wrench thrown in there and everything is off, we kind of panic a little bit, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, that's how it is. You got to be able to compartmentalize, and you got to be able to handle it mentally. That's the only way you get through that.
Yeah, 'cause I've always imagined and wondered how that works. Like, like I'll give you an example, right? So like one of my favorite TV shows is a show called Tanked. I don't know if you've seen it before, where they build the fish tanks for the celebrities and all of that and stuff. So they built a big fish / snake tank for Dwight Howard, right? He was lit. They built this tank in his house in Houston. This is when he was
with the Rockets,
playing for the Rockets, basically. But then, like, I don't know how early the show was recorded, whatever the case may be, but Dwight ended up being traded. And if I'm not mistaken, I think he went from the Rockets to the Lakers. I could be wrong. I mean, I could be wrong, but I know he ended up getting traded, right?
Right.
So I'm like, that's a big house. You just got this big fish / snake tank built into your house. Like, that's not something that you just up and move. Like, that might be the hardest thing to move in this house. And now it's like you just got traded to somewhere across country or whatever the case may be. Like, what do you do with this house in Houston? Do you keep it and say, hey,
man, that's why they tell you don't buy unless you know for sure that's where you're going to live. If you're a professional athlete, don't buy nothing unless you're for sure that's where you're going to live. Where no matter what happens, this still my house. Like I live here. I just leave to go play wherever, and I would rent or whatever I need to in the city that I'm playing in, and then when off season hit, I come back to my house. Like, because you don't want to be a guy that has 4 or 5 houses all over the place. Like, what you gonna do? You know what I'm saying? Like, that's it. That's his first off, it's insane. But you don't want to to be like that, because you ain't doing nothing but wasting money. That's money you're gonna need once your career is over with. So for sure, like when they always said, don't buy a house unless you know for sure that's where you're gonna stay.
So excuse me. So do the teams give out that disclaimer, or is that just etiquette?
That stuff, some of those stuff, like I first heard that at the rookie seminar. Herman Edwards told us that. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Herman Edwards, Plexico Burrs was like another speaker who talked about that. Like, you know, he said he had his crib back where he bought his crib where he knew he was going to live, and everywhere else he went through his career, he rented. You know what I'm saying? Because at the time in the NFL, if you was claiming a main house on your taxes, wherever because even when I got in the NFL, like I had a home in Houston. And I knew that was the home, and wherever else I played, I rented. And at the time, it was work related, so we could count that on our taxes as a write off. You know what I'm saying? But they stopped doing it. But my first 5-6 years in the NFL, we could do that. You know what I'm saying? So that's how I did it. I rented where I played, but I had my home stay in Houston. So that's how I was able to handle everything. And so because I took that advice from the rookie symposium when they said it, I was like, yeah, I'm gonna do that too. because I thought about that, like, yeah, I have a house where I play at, and I have a house where I know I'm gonna live at. But then it was like, when I heard that, I was like, yeah, he got a point. So I started doing it that way. And then once I found out it was a tax write-off, I definitely started doing it like that for sure. Yeah. But yeah, that's the smartest way to go.
Okay. Yeah, like, I love being in this space, man, because I've always had a whole bunch of questions, and it was like, who do I ask for this? Like, you know, and now that I'm getting the chance to ask actual players that have played in the leagues or in college or whatever the case may be, then I mean, yeah, these are things that I've wanted to know. I even asked Terrence. I asked Terrence Newby on the last episode. I didn't ask him on the show because I've heard a rumor about it when it came to Carolina. So it was like, you know what? I don't want to throw that out there because it might not be true. So let me just ask him off the set, I guess you could say, or whatever. Which I am gonna ask you after the show, because I'm curious to know. It's a different sport. It's a different sport. So I'm curious to know if it's the same thing for football players as it is for basketball players or soccer, baseball, volleyball, whatever, when it comes to UNC. So I'll ask you though off the set, because I don't want to put that out there like that, man. I don't want nobody. I don't want the university or nobody coming at me or whatever saying anything crazy or whatever the case may be.
Well, I appreciate that.
Yeah, it is what it is. So, all right, so I gotta ask you, man, because I mean, you would know better than I would. Because like I told you before we got started, I probably haven't watched a football game in about 2 years. NFL. I don't know what it is about the NFL. Like, it just doesn't grasp my attention like that anymore.
Gotcha.
I'm a Giants fan. You know, so that could possibly play a part in it because I just don't have much to cheer for. Yeah, but hey, it's better than a Dallas fan, I tell you that.
Absolutely.
But that's neither here nor there. But I guess my question would be, and it's not NFL pertaining to it. It's not pertaining to NFL. It's pertaining to UNC football.
Gotcha.
What do you see that has been maybe I don't want to say an issue, but like some troubles, I guess, that UNC football has been going through this season?
Well, the beginning of the season, it was consistent play at quarterback. We went through 3 quarterbacks until we found one. Then we had a young, inexperienced offensive line that only one guy, or 2 guys on the team, 3 guys on the team on the O-line had played. They had playing experience, but none of them played together. So on the offensive line, you gotta be able to play together, man. You got to be able to call out. You got to be able to call out blitzes. You got to be able to pass off like stunts and games from the D line and whatnot. And that comes with time. That comes with meshing. Like the tackle got to know what the guard's thinking. Guard got to know what the center's thinking. Center got to know what everybody's thinking. You know what I'm saying? Because just like the QB, the center is able to set the protection as well. So
right.
It just comes with repetition. Like, so it took a minute of inconsistency because we had to go through 3 quarterbacks. Granted, the starter of the year in the beginning of the year got hurt, so we don't know how he would have played, you know, if he wouldn't have got hurt. And then we had 2 guys who was kind of, one guy that came in, he was inconsistent, so we ended up going with the third string. And now so far the third string, he was a little shaky his first 2 starts. He's come back with 2 great wins over 2 good teams. So it looked like it's trending in the right direction. I hope so. Hopefully the team can become bowl eligible. At least play in the bowl, because bowls are important. It may not be the college football playoffs, but it gives younger guys more opportunities to get better for the upcoming season. As far as like defense, just with the loss of Kamen Rucker, we weren't able to put pressure on the QB consistently. Lions was able to slide. They like opposing offensive lineman was able to slide to like our second best pass rusher. So because our number 1 pass rusher wasn't on the field, so it's hard. The 2 guys that's behind Kamen, they was freshmen, so it's hard. They was redshirt freshmen, so they had been there already a year, but still they didn't have the game experience. And you got a 19, 20-year-old guy going against a 24, 25-year-old offensive lineman that's been in the system for about 5-6 years. Yeah, that's tough. You know what I'm saying? So good to get Kamen back. Now everybody's seeing what Kamen on the field. The pressure is mounted up. They've putting constant heat on the QB, which allowed our defense, our secondary, to get like interceptions and turnovers and whatnot, because it plays hand to hand. The front works with the back end. The back end works with the front end, because he's holding up in coverage. Quarterback has to hold the ball, which allows D-line time to get to the quarterback for sacks. If the D-line is putting constant pressures on the QB, then the QB is forced to throw things up, and that gives the DB's chance to get their hands on the ball, which creates turnover. So it plays hand to hand. In the past 2 games, we've seen a big turn, especially with going from pitch count against Pitt to full-on playing every rep. Yeah, it shows the major difference he makes as a leader on that team.
Yeah, I mean, you should have seen my Instagram page. Like my Instagram and my Twitter, from as far as everybody that I follow, like big on football. Everybody's just big on football, and I'm like, no, why? Like I get it. Trust me, I get it, because you got some people out there that are more pigskin than round ball type of people. I'm more round ball than pigskin. Right. Like, you know what I'm saying? But
I'm more of a pigskin guy than round ball.
Yeah. Rightfully so. So. I mean, you got to go with the one that paid the checks. No doubt about that. I'm not mad at that at all. But
plus, I never played organized basketball. I would play basketball PE. I would play basketball at PE at school, and I would play basketball at my grandma's house with the rest of my cousins. Other than that, I didn't play on no team, no nothing. That was it. I go to the game, because I had friends who was on the basketball team. I go support them, but nah, I was not a big basketball fan.
You wasn't the Julius Peppers.
No. I would have been the Bo Jackson, baseball and football. That would have been me. That's me all day. But my family was like that. My family, we didn't watch basketball in my family. I think I got 2 cousins in my family that play organized basketball, but they light skinned. So they ain't like to go outside. You know what I'm saying? So, everybody else in my family played baseball, football. If you was a heavy set guy, you wrestled. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So that's what you did. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
only time I would see basketball on the TV in my house is All-Star Weekend, because my dad liked to see all the great players in one spot.
Yeah.
And he would probably watch the finals, but he would mostly watch the finals because he was like, good, it's the last game of the finals. Football about to start back up. You know what I'm saying? So that was his MO. So, but other than that, we did not watch Oh my goodness.
I got you. All right. So I'm trying to think how I want to ask you this, because it's a deep question, right? When it comes to football, because everybody knows that they just came out with the college football game on PS5 and all of that and stuff, right?
Right.
They say that college football is the breadwinner when it comes to college sports over college basketball, which is crazy to me. I don't understand it, but maybe that's because I just don't watch it enough, I guess you could say, right? With the way, do you think, Lee, there's so many, because it's like it's a few questions that I want to put in one, but it's hard to do. Like the way that college football is structured now, with this system that they had, the win-loss system, the college football playoffs, all of that and stuff. Do you think that college football could generate more money if they change the structure a little bit? Because to me personally, I think bowl games are irrelevant.
If you're not playing for the championship, yeah.
Right. But at the same time, what's wrong with having a NCAA college football tournament like they do in basketball? Okay, you got 60 something teams, 64, whatever, 68, something like that. And you create one big tournament, and everybody because that's going to extend the season even longer versus you going out there playing one bowl game and now your season is over. Well, you go into that tournament with the 64 teams or whatever, and guess what? You might go all the way to, as they say in basketball, of course, an Elite Eight. But you've played more games than you did if you was to just play one bowl game and now the season is over. So do you think that college football, how do you feel about the structure? And do you think that it can, it would generate more income or revenue if the structure was changed?
I mean, football already pulls in close to $3 million a Saturday, every Saturday. I mean, and if you were Perennial powerhouse, you be pulling a little bit more. You know what I'm saying? So the difference is you can't play all those games of football. There's no way, because it's a car crash. Every snap of the ball is a car crash. The injury rate in football is 100%. If you play, you're gonna come away with a scratch, cut, maybe season-ending injury, injury that can keep you out. Maybe even career-ending injury, life-threatening. We've seen in the NFL where they had to perform CPR on a player on the field. So it's different. So I just think that now that there is a college playoffs, is more teams have a chance to win, to compete for a national title instead of traditional four schools, because it was schools that was undefeated but didn't get in. They didn't get in the playoffs over one loss Alabama team or one loss LSU or Clemson or whoever it may be. But now it's a 12-team format. It's like the playoffs for the NFL. So and that's pretty much college football. The pipeline is the pipeline. It's the universe. You graduate and you go to the NFL. That's what feeds the NFL, college football. So that's why they made the format more of a playoff structure for guys who coming off those teams. They already know. I guess it's like with the game getting younger and the coaches getting younger, they want to kind of keep it in the same. You're getting younger players coming out of college. You want to kind of keep it in that realm, so they not all over the place. Now, again, the only thing they have to get adjusted to is time management, because when you knew when you left football, you was pretty much going to class or study hall. Now, NFL, you leave football, you go home. You know what I'm saying? So that's the main thing. I don't think it'll ever get to that many games of football. It can't be, because if football start playing that many games, there isn't going to be any football. It's going to be bodies all over the place. Because no matter how strong and tough you are, eventually the body breaks down, and the more punishment it takes, it's going to break down at the end of the day. That's why it's called retirement at the end of the day. Because even if you're fortunate enough to play in the NFL, sooner or later you're going to have to hang it up. You can't play forever. So I would say keep it the way it is. I'm glad they expanded the college playoffs, so now more undefeated teams and one-loss teams have opportunities to compete for a natty instead of the same 4 teams you see every damn year. You know what I'm saying? So, like I got to a point. I got tired of seeing Clemson and Alabama. I was happy when Georgia got in there one time and TCU got in there, even though they lost. And Michigan got in there, and I mean, don't get me wrong. Now, if Alabama and Clemson keep winning, here's the text. Somebody got to stop them. I can't play against them. I'm done with college. So I understand, but it's good to see more schools get the opportunities to compete for that trophy.
Yeah. Okay. All right. I was just curious because, like I said, I'm not in. I like football, but
y'all don't bang in basketball. We run through brick walls. Y'all jump over brick walls in basketball. We run through in football. So
that's a fact.
You can't run through a brick wall too many times. At a certain point, that wall ain't gonna move no more. You gonna move. So
that is true. That'll kind of take me to that point to where, because I had a episode on here, and I mean my theory. I had an episode. It's called the Spain Pick and Roll. Like I had to throw that out there for the fans. Like, make sure y'all go back and watch that episode. That is an extremely important episode for sure. Like, I'm surprised that a lot of people, I didn't get a lot of responses from it, but it's an amazing episode. But in this episode, so I had two guests on there. My guy Pablo Kong from the 5 Point Play podcast, and my guy Rob Wan. He's a official. He's a referee, right? He's been doing it for over 20 years now. Okay. But I mentioned to him, because we talked about like football, I got into the topic of football, and I told him, I said, if you ever notice, when it gets in that fourth quarter, whatever the case may be, if a team is down, a team only gets 3 timeouts per game. Right. If I'm not mistaken, I don't think it's not 5, right?
It's 3 in football.
It's 3.
3.5 in football.
Right. So if a team is down and the clock is starting to tick away, what you'll start to notice is a lot of players will go down on that team that's losing. And I've always, and I still feel this way, that I seem to think that coaches or DCs or OCs or whomever are telling these players, listen, if he blows past you, whatever the case may be, you go down. Because we was on the topic of injuries. That's how it came up. Okay. Like, sometimes it's like, how do you know if a player is like really injured or not? And that I don't want to come off insensitive, because of course I don't want nobody to get hurt at all, period. Right. But however, at the same time, if coaches are telling these players like, hey, go down, like right at this point. Right. Well, not only what does that do for the team that's losing? Number one, it kind of gives them the players a break to catch their breath. So it's kind of like a timeout. Right. It gives the coaches an opportunity to draw up a play or whatever. Like, hey, let's do this while they're kind of taking care of him. Let's utilize this free non-timeout, I guess you could say, that we're getting right now.
Right, absolutely.
And yeah, so but I've noticed this in a lot of, if you watch football, like I think that was one of the things that it was like, listen, this is nasty work. Because I mean, when I watch I watch games, and if the team is losing, like, and it's happened this season with Carolina, like in a lot of Carolina games, when Carolina was winning, and if the team thought that they could, the opposing team thought that they could pull it out and beat Carolina, players started going down off of their team. And as a matter of fact, it's funny because Isaac even tweeted this a long time ago. I think it was the Georgia Tech game. Might have been Georgia Tech, might have been the Pitt game, one of the two. But Isaac even tweeted it, and it was like, is it me, or is Pitt or Georgia Tech or whomever just players just keep going down on every play? Like, and I'm looking like, finally, somebody else is starting to kind of see what I've been seeing for a long time. Right. But it gives the teams extra timeouts. It benefits them. But they may still end up losing the game. But then what happens if they win the game?
Yeah. I don't like the aspect of the game because we didn't do that when I played. Like, no, you got to stop them. Ain't no, they driving on us. We got to slow them down so we can catch our breath. So, fake an injury. Like, no, you got to stop them. It's your job to stop them. Like they, football is one of those games where you have the opportunity to move a man against his will. So if they keep moving against your will, what you gonna do? Ain't no backing out. Like, it's a battle. It's war. Like, either you gonna bow up or you gonna fold. And then a lot of teams do it, like you said, to save timeouts, especially if they only got one left. You know what I'm saying? So they use it to buy time. We call it the injury timeout, but it's the football version of flopping. That's what I call it. That's all it is. Football version of flopping. Ain't nothing wrong with you. You're just trying to buy time and whatnot. So I don't like it. It's like no, you like man up. You know what I'm saying? Like, if they drive on you a score, they just drove you a score. Go get you some rest and get ready for the next possession. Like, but if you stop them, you stop them. But I mean, I get it because it's war, it's strategy. You know what I'm saying? Like, so you want to do anything you can to slow that opponent down. But sometimes I wish they would do away from it because it slows down the game like a mug. Like sometimes I'll be ready for the game to be over with, and now you got people falling everybody's falling out like they hurt, and you got people acting like they catching cramps, and I'm like, dude, it's 72 degrees. How you catch a cramp in 72-degree weather? Like, come on now, he faking. So it's so it has its pros and cons for sure, but it's something I wish they would do away with though.
So how do you stop it, Denaris?
What you mean?
You can't go to a player and say, yo, you're not hurt, get your butt up, like, get on this field. Like, you can't.
Man,
that would
they got to be the coaches. They got to take that out. Like, unless you are really hurt, you cannot go down on an injury. Because I see some guy. Prime example: Willie McGinnis. The Colts was driving on the Patriots. Willie McGinnis fakes an injury. Coach running hurry up. Willie McGinnis fakes a cramp. Fakes an injury timeout. Cramp. He goes to the sideline. They go to the sideline. They make an adjustment. The next play, Willie McGinnis come off the end and tackle Adrian James on fourth down for the win. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? So it has its pros and cons, but like, you know what I'm saying? Like, but you would look at that and be like, now they just helped him get off the field. Now he just came in, just exploded like that. So, like I said, I get it, it's strategy, but it sucks at times. And I bet you Colts fans still remember that to this day. Like, he wasn't even hurt. Like, he just literally walked to the sideline, waited for a minute. He came because it was like a second down. So he was off the field for that third down, and he came back on the field for fourth down and then made the game-saving tackle. I was like, Lord have mercy. Because they thought he was just out there of course, if he's out there, he's accountable. But they was like, well, he's injured. They just out there because he's one of the veteran players. And for him just to make the type of play he made, they were like, man, wasn't nothing wrong with him. You know what I'm saying? So, so I get it. It has its ups and downs, but that's something that I don't agree with a whole 100% for sure.
So now I don't have to feel like I'm crazy. I've heard it now from the horse's mouth, I guess you could say, that yes, faking injuries happens in the NFL.
Hurt, but don't.
That's the thing. If you hurt now, I totally understand.
Absolutely.
Totally get it. But the reason why that topic came up like that is because, like I said, we was on the topic of basketball players, like being hurt, the load management that's going on in the NBA, things like that. We mentioned a few different players, and things like that. So I shifted it a little bit and mentioned to them, and they didn't really understand it until I broke it down to them. And their thing was, you actually do make sense or whatever. But I wanted to make sure now I'm hearing it actually from a NFL college football player.
Got you.
And
I mean, I understand the load management from a basketball perspective because they play so many games. See, there is no load management in the NFL. We got 17. You can make the best of them. Ain't no I play this game and I sit out the next game, because wins are already hard to come by in the NFL. But you only got a small window, like of 17 games to get the job done. So what you gonna sit out of it? All games are important. Like there's no game to take off. There's no game to take off in football. You know what I'm saying? Whether that be college or NFL, there's no games to take off. But in the NBA, yeah, you can miss this first matchup between the Knicks because we're gonna play them again in 2 weeks, and I play that one. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, 82. I get it. I mean, I don't like it at times, especially I'm a fan that paid my hard-earned money to come see you play, and now you on the sideline. Like, I'd be mad. Like
that was my point.
Right. Absolutely.
That was my point, because, and that's what I was trying to explain to them, because we was talking about, because I'm a Knicks fan. So, if I was a LeBron fan, the Knicks only play the Lakers twice a season. Right. In LA, in New York. So if I was a LeBron fan, I'm a Knicks fan, then I either got to go to New York or I got to go to LA to see LeBron and the Knicks, right? But suppose I decide to, of course, pick the closer destination, which would be New York. I get to Madison Square Garden, and now I find out that LeBron ain't even playing.
Right. Oh, yeah, of course. I'd be hot. I'd be like, damn.
What are we doing? What are we doing? Right.
Right.
I'm over the NBA too. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm over the NBA, Denars. I really am. Like, I'm just getting it's just not piquing the interest anymore like it used to. Like, this new era of basketball in the NBA is horrible. I think that I'm gonna say it again. I think that they are all con artists, just about all of them. Majority of them, I'll say, are all con artists. All of them in the NBA. I don't care. I don't care. Whoever wants to say something about it, then hey, it is what it is. I said what I said, and it is what it is.
They finesses.
Yeah. I mean, they Sam's from Lean on Me. You know what I'm saying? When he was trying to con Joe Clark, when he told him, "You trying to con me?" Like, yeah, they Sam's. Like, I'm so over the NBA. It's uninteresting. It's all entertainment. It's got this low management, too many egos. Everybody wants to be like the star player. They want to get paid, but then they don't want to play. I'm not from that era. I'm not from this era. The era that I grew up in.
You went out there and played every night.
The Anthony Masons, like the Dennis Rodmans, the Barkleys, the Malones, the John Starks, like the Patrick Ewings, like I'm from the fighters era, the PJ Brown and Alonzo Mourning, Tim Hardaway when they went up against the Knicks when PJ Brown flipped Charlie Ward at the free throw line and the big brawl happened and all.
Right.
I'm from that era. Like
I got
players go out there, they get concussions. Guess what? They back out on the floor after the timeout. These players now, they get a concussion, they out for 6 months. I mean, I know the season that's just a little overboard, but they out for 2-3 months.
I get you said absolutely.
It's horrible. It's horrible, and the NBA got to change it. And I'm afraid that college basketball might be heading in that direction with this whole NIL transfer portal stuff.
Right.
The NCAA is so far behind right now in making rule changes that by the time they try to make some changes, it's going to be too late.
I agree with you whole 100%. Like, yeah, because college football is already headed towards that. College football has turned into straight free agency. Free agency. You go into free agency, the transfer portal is free agency. You go in there and pick the best players, whoever can pay them, that's what you're gonna get.
And that's what all of these coaches are doing. The thing about college basketball is the fact that the players now are the ones that are more so in control than the actual coaches and the university. And that's a bad look. And I understand it. I understand why, but that's still a bad look because now these players are dictating how much money they want before they even play a game in college because of the fact that you got to go to college before you go to the NBA. You got to at least go for a year before you go to the NBA. But you're dictating how much a school wants to pay you. Like, oh, you want to pay me this? Well, this school is paying me this over here. So what are you going to do to match that price or beat that price?
Can you top that? Yeah.
Like,
I get it.
It's horrible.
It's the Wild West now. It's not. I would say it's not more so built on tradition anymore. It's more so built on what have you done for me lately, and what can you do for me now? You know what I'm saying? So it's up in there. I know. I'm glad I'm done playing. I mean, I wish I would have got some of the NIL, but I'm glad I'm not involved in all that. Because that'll be nerve-wracking, having to deal with class and football practice, and if I'm making enough money through NIL to help support my family, that's just another load on my plate that I don't think I could have been able to handle. I probably would have found a way, but that's one of those we never know because I'm past that. I'm past that stage. I'm a fan. I'm a fan in the stands like everybody else now. So I'm watching all and cheer my school on. But it's definitely become a big problem for some schools. Some schools they're not the dominant powerhouses they once were because now they can't sit and just stack 4 and 5 stars on their bench and make the 4 and 5 stars wait a year. Like 4 or 5 stars not waiting to play. Like no, like if we can't play right now. Okay, you may be riding the bench all year. All right, I'm just gonna hit the portal. I'm gonna go on the portal after the season over.
and I tell you this, just like you mentioned or whatever about they're getting the older coaches out of college football. Yeah, they're doing the same thing in college basketball.
Absolutely, because the older guys are not used to that. It's like because they're used to a tradition. You came here because you wanted to come here. You came here
forcing them to leave.
You came here for to experience the tradition of the school. Either that's the tradition of winning, the tradition of great academics. Now it's just now I'm coming here because they pay more. So when they're not getting paid or they feel like they're not being treated right, they take their ball and go home. And it's easy. Like I said, it's easy for me to say because I'm out of it because I don't know. It could still be a what if. What if I was 18, 19 right now dealing with that? How would I handle it? I don't know.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because I did mention like if I was sitting here and I had to ride the bench and another school came and was offering me money, I probably would have left too, depending on my situation at home. But it would have been more so depending on my situation at home. It wouldn't have been based off the coaches and nothing like that. But if I could have got more money elsewhere, like to help my family, then I probably would have like leaned towards that way. You know what I'm saying? Especially with me being out out-of-state kid, if I got an opportunity to go back home and play in front of the hometown and get paid more, then I probably would have took it.
So since we're on the college basketball topic, I gotta know. Before we wrap things up and everything, I gotta know what's your expectations for the basketball team this year.
Nothing less than the Elite Eight, Final Four, man. Like, I don't never put it past Carolina. We have a chance to make it every year. I want them to. I'm not sure where the Final Four is this year.
San Antonio.
San Antonio?
Yep.
I've been to San Antonio. I wouldn't mind going back a year. So, yeah, I want to go, man. I pay to go to San Antonio and watch them in the Final Four. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, absolutely. So I hope they get there, man. It'd be good to see Carolina win another championship. I mean, I was there in 2009 when they won it. So it was cool to experience a national championship parade on Franklin Street and on campus and whatnot. And then I remember I remember being at the game in Houston when we lost to Villanova. I was mad. I was sitting there because I was living in Houston at the time. So I bought my ticket, went there, felt good. I'm like, man, didn't have to buy no hotel. I had to buy with a ticket and just go. You know what I'm saying? And then lose. I mean, we lost on a buzzer beater. I'd rather lose on a buzzer beater than get blown out. You know what I'm saying? But we still lost. And then for them to come back the next year and win it, it was pretty cool. But I definitely want to see Carolina win a few more championships, especially with Hubert Davis at the helm.
Absolutely. And whenever you decide to, you want to buy tickets or whatever to go to the Final Fours or whatever, just make sure you buy extra. You know what I'm saying? And of course, I'll meet you out there. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, and make it happen. Well, you know what? I hate to put the pressure on you, but you probably have to buy one for the wife too, because she's not letting me go to a UNC game without her. I can tell you that now. Like, she's already told me, like, no games. Don't you go to no games without me. Like, I introduced her to UNC last year. Took her to a few games at the Smith Center. Fell in love with it. I mean, now you would think that she's one of the cheerleaders. She loves it. As a matter of fact, we went to the Johnson C. Smith exhibition game not too long ago, and I mean, she was like, "Oh, what time is the game?" I mean, she jumped up, started going to get prepared and getting ready and all of that. And I'm like,
"Oh man, that's what's up."
I listen. I created a fan, man. I created a fan. Like, she already knows about everything. She knows when it's basketball season. Yeah, we in motion. We
rolling.
Yeah, we in motion for sure. So exactly. So yeah, I can't put no pressure on you, man. I can't have you buy. Well, I can't have you buying 2 tickets. But if you decide, yeah, you're gonna have to get 2. You're gonna have to get 2. Listen, you can buy just 2 tickets and she'll take your ticket.
You gotta catch me first.
Listen, she'll fight you for it now. She will fight you for it.
She can't catch me. I chase grown men. I used to chase other grown men for a living. I know she can't catch me.
Yeah. Listen. Dog. I can't even say nothing else, man. I just know that I can't go to no games without her. So
I got you.
It is what it is. But yeah, man, I think I like our team. I really do. There's a few things that they got to work on. I'm still a little nervous about the front court because we don't really have the typical big down low. I guess you could say the big man down low or whatever, like center. So I'm still a little nervous, I guess you could say, maybe about that. But this is a really good team. I think once they figure a few things out, then they're going to be breathtaking. Like I think so. Like you're gonna get a lot of highlights this year. ESPN top 10 highlights. With Ian Jackson and Drake Powell and Steph Trimbles just came alive. Like, but it's some of the pieces around them that I want to see more from. I need to see a little bit more out of them. But I think, I think they'll figure it out. I actually had this talk with Ray Terry about it, and I mean, he was just like, man, listen, they need to do this and they need to do that, and I'm telling him, like, listen, Ray, like, all of these guys are new. Majority of them are new, so like, you got to give them time to adapt and adjust. Like, yeah, Cade Tyson coming from Belmont. That's Belmont.
Right.
Ain't no team in the ACC on that level as Belmont. Every team in the ACC, even Stanford, Cal, SMU, are bigger than Belmont.
Right.
Like, the kid is coming from a small conference to a major conference.
Right.
Like, he has to get adjusted.
Absolutely.
Like, give him a little time. He'll figure it out. So
teammates in practice and then going against a live competition from another university on that level. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I definitely get that.
Yeah. So Ian and Drake, the same thing. Like I told him, they ain't seen this 2-3 zone that they just saw from Elon. Drake and Ian hasn't seen that in high school. Like, they didn't see that. So when it displays itself on the court, the first thing they're probably thinking is, wait a minute, what is this? Like, but once they figure it out, I think things are gonna flow so much smoother. And I mean, they got some big games coming up, so they're gonna face a lot of adversity. I don't expect them to go undefeated in the regular season, but they're going to face some adversity. And with that, that's going to change a lot of different things for them. The only thing that I need for them to get that the team had last year is that dog mentality. They need that edge. Right. Harrison Ingram had a dog mentality.
Right.
Cormac Ryan, dog mentality. He was edgy. Yeah. Armando Bacot, Harrison, and Cormac brought that out of him, because that last year was the first time that Armando was really vocal and expressing himself on the court.
Okay.
Well, it took a couple of players to come in and bring that out of him. This team right now, I don't know who has it, but they have to get it.
Absolutely.
They have to get it, So we'll see what happens. But I'm excited for the season, man. Of course. I mean, if you end up going to some games, let me know. It'd be yeah.
The men though,
huh?
I be going to my women's game. The men though, I ain't gonna be lie. I be going to women's game like a mug.
I do want to catch some women's games this year. Okay, now. Yeah. I probably
only went to one men's game last year, but I went to about 8 women's.
Well, I will say this: if I don't catch any women's games this year, I'm definitely catching some next year for sure. Yeah. Like I said, and it's not because of this, but I mean, I interviewed Nyla Brooks and Talia Henderson and Thaisa Quieros. I got to make sure I say that right before she texts me and be like, "Oh, nah, you didn't get it right." Like, so I don't want her jumping on me or whatever. But I interviewed them. I had episodes with them. So, I mean, of course, I'm excited about for sure next year, because Coach Banghart is killing the recruiting process right now. Like she's the number one coach with 3 top 50, I think, players like in the country as far as recruits. So she's doing a remarkable job right now. She's number 1. So, but yeah, I do want to catch some women's games this year. So, of course, you gotta let me know what games you plan on going to too, so that I can try and figure some things out, man. So we can maybe link up there and sit down and watch some women's basketball as well. So, yeah, absolutely. So, listen, Denarius, man, I definitely appreciate you stopping by, bro. Like, I know that this episode was supposed to be about a little bit more of basketball, but the football was just very, very interesting, and I just couldn't leave it. I had to stay with it. Like, I had to get you on something that you know more, I guess you could say.
I got you.
Yeah. So, but I definitely appreciate you, stopping by to chop it up with me, man. Like, it's an honor. You're always welcome. It's an open invitation, of course. You know what I'm saying? Like, all you got to do, you got the number. So all you got to do is just reach out like, yo, I need to come on. Like, I want to stop back by the Zell Dome. Like, whatever the case may be. So it's an open invitation, bro. And I will say this without letting out too much. For all the fans out there, just so you all know, me and Denarius have been talking behind the scenes. And we got some things lined up. That's all I'm gonna say.
Absolutely.
We got some things lined up. So, but I'm gonna leave it at that. Yeah, like some big things lined up, ladies and gentlemen.
Show people.
Yeah. Pop out. Yeah. Sometimes you got to do that, dog. Sometimes you got to do it. Like, that's just, it is what it is. So, but yeah, man. So, Denarius, listen, let everybody know where they can find you at and everything, bro.
They can find me on social media, which is Instagram and Twitter, both names @Searcy_21. Get at me, man. Follow, shoot some questions, shoot some likes, man. I answer back as quickly as possible. It's always good to hear people's perspectives, especially Tar Heel fans. This is one of you. This is my home. This is the place I always represent, no matter where I go. Even when I go to Atlanta, I got on some Carolina. Even when my family be like, "We know you went to Carolina. You ain't got to wear it all the time." I'm gonna wear it all the time. Like, even when I'm not here, I'm repping. Just know that I don't been out the country and had Carolina stuff on and ran into other alumni. So, like they always say, Tar Heels are everywhere. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, if you run into me out of the street, say what's up. I mean, I do autograph, I take a picture. Just don't go too crazy with it. But yeah, I'm well approachable, man. I'm one of the most chillest people you ever meet. I'm laid back. So yeah.
Yeah, I just so the fans know, I caught one of Denarius's pictures on Instagram or whatever, and I gotta admit, the brother was sharp. Like, he was sharp. He had on this. He know what picture I'm about to say too. When I mention it, he'll know which one I'm about to say. He'll know which one it is. But Denarius had on this Carolina blue suit with a white shirt and some Carolina blue and white ones. Jordan.
Yeah. He knows. Daddy-daughter dance. My daughter wanted to wear Carolina blue, so we wore Carolina blue. Absolutely. Yep. Daddy-daughter dance last year.
Yep. So,
matter of fact,
I said the boy is sharp. I said the boy is clean. Look at him.
Matter of fact, I gotta ask my daughter what color we wear this February. You know, so that be our thing, man.
Listen, Carolina blue, you can't never go wrong. Just maybe change it up a little bit or whatever. But and listen, whatever she chooses,
that's what we going with.
That's what you got to go with, bro.
It's gonna be she in the 5th grade, so this is our 5th daddy. It's gonna be our 5th daddy-daughter dash. Her very first, we wore purple, we wore red, we don't wore pink. And last year we wore blue. So this the 5th one coming up. We got to see.
Yeah. Whatever she go with, hey, listen. Whatever she go with, Denarius,
Right.
You got to go with it, bro.
Absolutely.
Got to go with it. Yeah, for
She
sure.
said Carolina blue. I was like, Lord, I had to go get that one kind of made. I was like, I don't have no Carolina blue suit now, but
that's a. Hey, listen. Listen, when I seen it, I said tailor made.
Yep.
Tailor made. Because you ain't gonna just find no Carolina blue suit that fits.
No.
Tailor made. Tailor made. I said that boy Wiz Khalifa out here. Tailor made.
Tailor made. I had to make it happen.
Absolutely.
Make it happen.
Absolutely. So, and listen, for all of the fans out there, if y'all didn't know, you can catch Denarius on Inside Carolina. Matter of fact, Denarius, just give him the schedule, man. Like
you catch me on game days on Inside Carolina. You can also catch me on Locked On Tar Heels with Isaac sometimes, man. Just tune in and enjoy yourself. It's great content. We get to the point. Get you great insights from not only me. Sometimes on Inside Carolina, we have other guests on, other former Tar Heel players. So, man, just tune in on Saturdays before the game. Away games, we are 2 hours before kickoff. Home games, we're an hour before kickoff. So it's pretty cool. I love it.
Absolutely. Big shout out to the guys over at IC, Joey and Sean and Sherelle and everybody. Listen, I ain't forget everybody's names. It's just too many of y'all. Like I hope y'all understand.
The whole crew.
Yeah. Just the whole crew. Shout out to the whole crew. The whole crew. Big shout out to Isaac Shade, of course, at Locked On Tar Heels, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So really, really good peoples, man. Make sure y'all go and check out the episodes that they have as well. Make sure you check out the ones with Denarius as well. And tune in, like he said, for the football shows and
the pregame show. Get that good pregame content, man, before the game starts. Get behind the scenes, game predictions, what the Heels need to do to win. It's fun, man. We like to mix it up on the show for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Ladies and gentlemen, that is Denarius. My God, that's what's up. So, listen. Up. Denarius, you know what that means, right? Somebody is at the door. Now, who could it be? Like, it is what it is, man.
It better be good, man. They interrupt us. It better be good.
Hey, they didn't listen. They didn't interrupt us, but they did interrupt us.
Right.
Now we got to figure out who it is. If they stopping by here, it's got to be somebody important.
Facts.
For sure. We can't jump them or anything because it's UNC family. We can't jump them, Denarius.
Right.
Like, we can't beat them.
Like I said, we everywhere. You never know who you're gonna run into, who's gonna stop by.
Or bump into going in and out the door.
For sure.
It is what it is, man. It is what it is. But I appreciate you, my guy, for sure. And listen, to all of the fans, I appreciate everybody chiming in, tapping it in with us. And until the next time, y'all hold it down.